singer. Oh my god.
Lip singing with me.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Spotlight. Here you have my boy Brandon with us for this episode.
Hey, how's it going?
You know, he's 1/3 owner of the Fit Academy as well. He got his own brand that we'll get into further into this episode. But just tell them a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background.
Yeah, Brandon Moon. Like you said, like Derek was saying, 1/3 owner of Fit Academy, and then the actual owner of Better LLC, which is my own personal brand. So, just had a passion, like I said, for physical fitness. Like I said, kind of started, I was in the military, I played sports in school, and, for the most part, coming up as a kid, and then all of a sudden, like I said, went in the military, and then, physical fitness has always been around, but really been hitting it kind of heavy roughly about the last 5 years, so give or take.
Cool, that's what's up. You have any schooling background?
So as far as the schooling, I am certified. I went through the International Sports Science Association and got my certification. But other than that, as far as my knowledge in physical fitness, it's kind of just all, like I said, what I've learned and collected over time, along with the certification as well.
That's what's up. How was that process? Was that a difficult process for you to get the certification?
Well, for the most part, like I said, it wasn't too bad. Like I said, because I felt like I've always kind of had a knack for it. Like I said, it kind of always came natural. The more that I applied it and actually broke it down to the science of it, actually. Yeah. And so when I actually got into it, now the timing wasn't the best because, like I said, it was during COVID, and at the time, balancing being a husband and trying to be a business owner and then working a 9 to 5, was kind of trying to find time to study and really, get the things out of the way to really make sure I pass. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't too bad. So.
Gotcha. Speaking of that, how do you manage your time now? Especially you still work full-time job.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
you have a family. We get into that later. And you got the Fit Academy, as with your own brand. So how do you manage your time?
I find myself just kind of trying to structure myself out. At least about a week's time in advance, usually. If I can do it a little bit further, that's always good. But now I find myself, I really can't. I don't have that luxury of that. Okay. So between, like I said, working a 9 to 5 for the government, and then, like I said, raising my 9-year-old daughter and being there for my wife, and then of course, trying to open, and get this up and running the Fit Academy while still trying to build my brand of Live Better. Right. You try to chip off at it a little bit at a time, just realize hey, prioritize, hey, these are the things that I know I need to do every single day, or that I need to do, make sure that I do, and then everything else kind of chip away, come back, chip away, come back, try to keep it a nice balance.
Nice, so. Got you. So yeah, mention you have a wife, you have mention your 9-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. How has fatherhood changed you for the better?
Fatherhood has made me look at things and I guess try to look at things from a different point of view. Like trying to understand and hey, look, trying to remember how I was raised and, the morals and the ethics that was instilled in me, and trying to implement that and put that towards my daughter to make sure that, she has the best chance of succeeding. Okay. So, I mean, I would definitely say fatherhood has changed me to kind of think more, and be and make sacrifices hey, look, sacrificing my time and my energy to provide a better life, for her and my family. Okay. So I would definitely say father is kind of, if anything, maybe mature, kind of, want to do better, truthfully, not just for me and myself, but really for her. So.
I feel that. So, you mentioned your own brand, Live Better. How did you get into fitness? Let's start with that.
So, like I said, for one night, like I said, I had to keep some level of fitness, in the military, and then, I had a couple of injuries and things, and then realistically, really, when I got out and started working for the government, I went contracting, and I kind of got into it more so then. So over there, keeping up, I had time to focus on, myself, really, and it was hard because I was separated from my family, but it gave me that time to really focus on myself, to clean up my eating, to really start working my body and understanding it, not just doing it just for the cosmetic stuff. It's hey, I'm going to the beach, so let me get my arms and my chest right. Hey, wait a minute, I don't want, these medical conditions to come about later on. I want to live a better lifestyle overall. And so that was, I guess, the breaking point for me then, or the tip of it. Now it's probably about 8 years ago, roughly. And like I said, I really didn't, I kind of dabbled into it, but then I kind of let it go. Came back home, started being a father, started getting been lazy, eating, and then I had an accident in 2014. And then after recovering from the accident, that's when that really made me like, hey, you know what? I need to get my body back, because at that point I had to go to physical therapy. You know, I couldn't, I had whiplash, I couldn't move my neck, and you know, I kind of felt helpless a little bit. And I was like, hey, no, I know I'm better than this. I know I can still move. So it's like, hey, let me start. So that's when I went to the local YMCA here in town, joined them, and like I said, that was about around the same time that I met, you know, Tim. Really didn't know him, but I would see him in there. And so, and then from there, you know, people started working on my craft, learning, implying what I was seeing on, you know, internet and reading and trying it myself, and then fact checking and doing things. And then that's when people kept approaching me and him, you know, when we started lifting together, and was like, hey, you know, you guys are pretty consistent and pretty in, you know, in here a lot, and it seems like you guys know what you're doing. You know, hey, can you maybe give us some tips and, you know, show us some things? And so, you know, kind of mulled the idea over, but really didn't stick like talking about it. Right. But really when COVID hit and you couldn't get access to the gyms, and I was like, wait a minute, I need to find a different way to do this. And then it's like, hey, so I went to the home gym route. And then that's when I still had people at that point that really started asking me questions about working out. And I said, you know what? Hey, why not? You know, I mean, I could use the side income. You know, I already enjoy working out. You know, it's not really a hobby for me at this point. It started to turn into a lifestyle. Right. And so at that point now, I already knew that it was going to be here, it was going to stay. And so that's when I said, hey, why not, you know, why not go into that realm? So that's when I did. And then when COVID happened, and that's when it really was like, hey, look, there's people out here that, you know, can't get to the gym just like I can. You know, they don't have the money to furnish their own home gym. Right. So what are some other ways that they can stay active? You know, with different, you know, workouts, with resistant bands, with medicine balls, yoga bands, but not even those things, with a simple, you know, fold-up chair that I'm sitting in, you know, or your steps in your house. I mean, you know, that's what led me to actually come up with the name of Live Better. So it was like, hey, you know, just moving, getting out there and moving and being active to live a better life. Okay. It was just walking, running, you know, whatever it is, just being active, you know, not being, you got to think, you know, humans, you know, we were, you know, nomadic. You know, back in the Cro-Magnon, those times, we was built to move around, and that's what happened. So we're naturally, but over time, you know, you got to think the obesity rate, you know, in the world is, I mean, horrendous right now, and it, you know, it's borderline scary. So, you know, at this point here, and you look at it, I mean, it's easier. I mean, you got fast foods everywhere, you know, and it's cheap to get that versus to eat healthy, you got to spend a little bit more money.
A little bit more, of course.
Or think about, you know, when you go in the stores, you know, what's the first things you see at the beginnings and the entrance, you know, as far as colorful things and, you know, snacks and chips and candies, because those are sellers. While the things are in the back, you know, on
back
the back,
in the corner.
yeah, they don't have no pay, and they usually use lighter colors, pastel colors. They're not eye popping. So, you know, that's what it's like. It's a lot of that, and so that's what led me to like, hey, let me just get out here and just help people, like just help them live a better life, just to get moving. And that's kind of where I just went with it, and it kind of just stuck for me.
Gotcha.
So,
you mentioned the military. How did the military help with your discipline now when it comes to like your fitness goals and your health and everything?
So I would definitely say the military helped a lot, because I mean, I was against military. I come from a military family. You know, my mom, you know, she went to the military for a little bit, but then had a medical discharge, you know, due to a knee, and then my dad retired. So, you know, coming up, I mean, I really didn't. I hated it. I was just like, man, And then getting into it, I realized that it's something more. You know, it's a brotherhood. Yeah. You know, at this point here, the discipline and the structure, it's not about just you. You know, you're just a piece, you know, of a puzzle, of a bigger picture. So it's like, hey, that man to the right or left, you're a woman, you know, is dependent on you. And so at that point, it also further instilled in me to help people. And I guess it was always there, because even from, you know, when I was a child, you know, I was in Boy Scouts. And then, like I said, joined the military. So all those were forms of helping people. And even in my regular job now with the government, I help people just in a different form with disability and retirement and things of that nature. But now helping people in a physical way, I feel like I'm getting a better satisfaction seeing that. Like hearing, you know, somebody say like, you know, hey, you know, like, keep up your good work. Like, hey, you know, I can sleep better, I can breathe better, I can move better. And we're talking about basic movements. We're not talking about, oh, hey, slinging stuff across the parking lot or lifting something heavy. We're talking about, because at their job, it's easier now for them to walk to their car to their job. Right. You know, basic things that people don't think about, you know. And so I think the military really helped me hone in and stay on track. You know, those moments where it sucks, where I don't want to train, where I don't want to get up. It's like, hey, look, you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it, you're going to take this commitment to help somebody, so help them.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? They pay their money, and it's not even about the money. They pay their time, their effort. You know, they're instilling their trust. Like, hey, this is my body. I already have and most people that, you know, personal train, you know, for the most part, you know, unless they're looking for a competition or to go or to improve their performance, you know, a lot of the clients that we catch are, you know, people that have problems or, you know, are overweight and want to lose or have no knowledge or have at least had some kind of pre-existing injury. Right. You know, I mean, I know I've torn my knee and I've had broken ribs, and so, but they come to us, you know, like, hey, look, I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Like, hey, that's their conviction. You know, not like, you know, some people, which is fine, you know, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds because I want to go here, I want to go there. You know, but is that a real reason, or is that just something that's temporary that you can stick with it? Or like, hey, check out this new fad diet, you can lose 10 pounds in 10 days. Yeah. Well, that's fine, but for one, is that safe? And then is that effective? And that's going to be long-term and long-lasting. Because usually, for the most part, you do a fad diet like that and you don't know, you know, what you're doing or how to maintain it or sustain it, then you're going to wind up gaining that back plus more. And you hear it and see it all the time. You know, versus when you take a realistic approach to it and make gradual small steps, I mean, it's easily attainable.
Yeah. So your brand, Live Better LLC, you started it, was 2020 or this year?
It was 2020.
2020? Mm-hmm. Like pretty much most of everybody was going through that time.
Yeah.
So what, I mean, you have the brand, I'm sure you have plenty of clients. What vision do you currently have for the brand? Like from now, let's say 2 to 5 years from now.
Sure. So far as with Live Better now myself, I mean, it's obviously my baby, and I do want to grow it as well. And now, of course, you know, the Fit Academy, you know, is getting a lot of my time as well, but also, too, the Live Better technically wouldn't exist without the Fit Academy. Right. I mean, it could have, but the Fit Academy has allowed for Live Better to grow more because now I actually have a place, a facility. Yeah, that's mine. I don't have to pay, you know, those dues to other gyms, you know, and say, hey, well, this is our contract or our fee to train your clients. And then especially around here, we're limited, and we don't have, our gyms here don't really have the space, you know, and so at this point, that's why, you know, the Fit Academy, we're not a membership gym. We're not membership based. So I think that we're moving in the right direction because people feel like it's more personal. It's more one-on-one. You know, we can take the time to train you versus a group setting, which we do group settings, but it's not like, hey, we got 15 to 20 people. And so I think with that, like I said, with Live Better, for what I can see, it is just bringing people together, community, you know, just any like-minded people. As long as you have fitness, health, and wellness in mind, I mean, like I said, hey, I want to be able to help any and everybody as I can, online, personal, group, any way possible. I mean, you know, and that's why now I find myself getting into, you know, not necessarily doing it right here, but I guess not with Live Better itself, because I'm solely in the personal training realm, you know, in sports performance and improvement and things like that, versus with the Fit Academy, now I can do that and, you know, learn more about Zumba, learn more about yoga, learn more about, you know, those things, because they all tie into your fitness and your health and your wellness. So I definitely feel like, you know, with Live Better, it has the potential to grow. It's just got to keep building it little by little.
Respect. So in your own opinion, of course, what is the 3 most important things to you when it comes to fitness and health?
3 most important things, fitness and health. So for the first one is proper nutrients. So I mean, you gotta be eating right. So I mean, you know, and so that's another cert that I'm actually going through right now in the middle of is nutrition. So just so you know, because here we do give diet tips and recommendations and meal plans. So obviously, but of course we want you to consult with your dietitian and your doctors and things like that. So I would definitely say eating is the right way. Making sure you're eating the proper portions for what you want. You know, as far as if you want to be to lose weight, you have to be at a calorie deficient or caloric deficiency. You have to eat, you know, lower calorie, less. But also, too, it's the breakdown as far as your protein, the carbs, the fats. So, you know, I would definitely say, you know, not just watching, hey, what's the nutritional facts? I can't have that. But making sure you have a balanced approach to it as far as what your fitness goals is. If you're bulking and want to build versus if you want to lose weight or if you want to maintain and tone. So nutrients is key. Just making sure you're eating things that are not, you know, processed, you know, and eating whole things and, you know, and watching your sugar intake, you know, and those breads, and I'm not saying that all of those things are bad, but it's all about moderation. And realistically, it's all about what you want to achieve. If you want to go out here and be a bodybuilder and a competitor and do this, then you're going to have to be a little bit more strict and clean than somebody who just wants to, hey, look, I just want to drop weight, so I can feel better about myself and live better and look better and things like that. At that point, you don't have to go as extreme with your eating and with your working out. So,
Gotcha.
So that's the first one for me. The second one is definitely, like Trey had said on his say, sleep. You gotta have sleep. Like you said, I know these days, see it, like you said, with COVID in 2020, it forced people, it created a lot of entrepreneurs. People out here that's got into different things, and then look at everything else that it's created, as far as remote jobs and everything else. But the thing is, with the entrepreneurship, you gotta have sleep. Your body can't operate without sleep. It's no way possible. It's gonna tell you when it needs sleep. Like, hey, look, it's gonna shut down. Your functions are going to stop. So you gotta have sleep, because if you're not a person that's used to, if you're not an athlete and you haven't been doing this for years and years and on a daily basis, it's not muscle memory to you. You see what I'm saying? So at this point, your body's gonna need the extra sleep, because if you go from here pretty sedentary to now moving more, even if it's 2 to 3 days out of the week, your body's going to require more nutrients and sleep, because it's like, hey, wait a minute, we need this energy and resting. If we're already tired from her working her full job and her part-time, now she's throwing in a workout session. You see what I'm saying? Your body's going to wind up crashing. It's going to shut down, which can overall lead to further injuries, and be dangerous. And that's why I say sleep, nutrients, and then sleep, they kind of go hand in hand. You gotta have them, if you really want your body to be running properly and efficiently. So, and then I guess my third thing, for me, besides the sleep and the nutrients, is just, for me, I think a positive attitude is a big thing. And there's numerous things I could have threw into that third one. But for me, I would say a positive attitude, because, you look at it like this. You can look at the glass as half empty or half full. And so you look at it as like, hey, but if you have a positive attitude and say, so for instance, let's say, hey, I'm stuck here for a year. Oh, and here I'm at the 6-month mark. You can look at it and say, oh man, the glass is still half full. Oh, I got 6 more months of this. I got to grind it out. Or you can say, hey, it's a downhill battle now. Halfway done. Let's go. That's why I say this, because if you approach this the same way and open-minded and, and say, hey, look, I know I can do it. I can, I just got to make small steps. I might not be like her or like him, but hey, as long as I'm making small progressive steps because I have the right attitude and I'm positive about it and understand that it's a process and a journey, then you're gonna come out on top every time. Think about it. In any kind of walks of your life, you gotta have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
If not, then obviously the negative is gonna cause more harm than positive. The negative. So you gotta have that positivity. Just a positive, optimistic mindset to fitness and health.
Gotcha. Respect. So nutrition, sleep, and PMA, positive mental attitude. So when you talk about nutrition, I guess, do you have any tips for people, that's trying to eat better?
Sure.
And how they can, keep track of the things that they eat, the calorie intake.
Yeah, sure.
Everything like that. Do you have tips for those people? Because honestly, even me personally, I don't eat like junk food, anything like that, but I know I can definitely eat better.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's all of us, of course. Like I said, for even me, of course, yes, I'm a personal trainer, but for me to sit here and say, no, I don't eat junk food, no, I don't drink beer and stuff, I'm not, because obviously I would, be in a better position. But for me, I know I don't have aspirations to be a bodybuilder, a power lifter, a competitor. But, just making small steps, like for instance, if you drink coffee, there's a lot of coffee drinkers out there. I do. Instead of whole milk, do half milk, 1%. You can use a no creamer, just go straight black. Or if you need sugar, use agave or sweetener, or sativa. Those are little substitutes right there that you could do. Or even using oat milk, like silk or almond milk, because now you're getting some protein in there, and you're still cutting back some of that coffee if need be, for whatever the purpose. Just so things like that, especially with sugar, I would definitely say substitute your sugars. Wherever you can eat maybe whole grain, and wheat, of course, versus just straight white pastas and white breads. But of course, you want to limit your breads potentially. Truthfully, you want to limit them as much as possible. But your body does need carbs at times, to burn. It's fuel. So you shouldn't cut them out all the way. But just making sure you make some good suggestions. Or like for instance, You know, if I say, hey, you know, potatoes are full of starch. Yeah, that's true, it's a carb. But let's say, hey, you boil it, you know, with a little pepper and let's say a little bit of salt. You know, granted, it's a little bland, so maybe you can throw some other spices on there. But now that's not really that bad. Versus, oh, hey, let me get this baked potato now. Let me put sour cream on it, cheese, bacon, bitch, and everything else. Now this baked potato that went from here in calories to went from here in calories. And it exploded because of everything that you put on there.
Yeah.
Same thing with a salad. Oh, hey, let me get a salad. So, hey, now you got, you know, cucumbers and tomatoes and onions. And then let's say maybe an egg. That's fine with a vinaigrette versus, oh, hey, let me get turkey, ham, cheese. Let me get croutons. And I mean, it's good, yeah. But I mean, realistically. So just small things like that. And eating your portion. You know, like realistically, taking your fist, you know, and looking at your portion sizes. You know, having your meat to your veggies to your fiber. You know, usually for me, you know, when I am, you know, I go through my periods when I eat clean. So, like, sometimes I might go through a period where I intermediate fast. Or I might go to where, you know, as far as I stop eating at a certain time, and I won't eat again until another time frame. So, like, for instance, I'll stop eating at 8 o'clock at night, and I won't eat again until maybe, like, 1 p.m. the next day. So that's and then my window is from that 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Okay. And then after that, no more eating. So that's the intermediate fasting. And you can go longer or shorter, you know, obviously to try to change your body's metabolism. And then, you know, keto, I've done that before as well. But just, like I said, being realistic, watching your bread, watching which is carbs, you know, and pastas, watching your sugars, and then staying away from sodas, of course, you know. Increasing your water intake is a big one. A lot of people will do when they stop eating, they'll stop drinking water. But, you know, and it's like, hey, during the intermediate fast or just in general, and it's like, hey, you think your body is made up of over 70% of water. We need water to sustain. So the more water we drink, you know, you feel better, your skin's better, your hair's better, and everything else. Your overall bodily function is better. Okay. So, you know, you got to have that. And like I said, the main thing is with the approach, just take it a little bit at a time. You ain't got to go from, oh, hey, here to just cutting out everything, you know, from, oh, hey, now I'm just eating a cracker and one piece of chicken and some carrot sticks. No, like not that, but just scaling it back. You know, another thing that you could do is another hack is instead of using a big plate, use a smaller plate. So now it'll control your portion. So, you know, it's that illusion, you know, or maybe, you know, if you, before you snack, drink a bottle of water. Because, see, you know, I get it. Some people, you know, certain triggers cause people to eat. Especially right now, you know, stress from work, you know, family issues. So that might be their go-to. Oh, hey, I need to eat something, you know, or what. But at that point, you know, some things that you can do is say, do I really need that? So drink some water. Right. And then if you still think you want it, then okay. And then another thing you could do is, hey, do I really want that piece of candy? All right, in order to get that piece of candy, I need to do 10 push-ups. Do I really want to do them 10 push-ups for that candy? And, you know, if you wind up doing it, a lot of times you probably not going to want to do it. But if you do want to do it, hey, at least you've done something for it as a reward, and just keep that in your mind. Or in general, like I said, just opting for healthier options. You know, like, hey, do I really want this, like I said, this piece of candy? Maybe grabbing a piece of watermelon. You know, that's a sweeter fruit. You know what I mean? Or a mango or a pineapple. You know, once again, everything in moderation. You can't say, oh, since I can't eat this one candy bar, I'm going to eat this half a watermelon. That's not the same. But, you know, once again, everything in moderation. But for people that don't know how to track, I mean, now in the world that we live in, I mean, there's some free apps, calorie counters, macro counter. I mean, online, you can go to a lot of these places like Complete Nutrition and Bodybuilder and GNC and actually use a macro calculator on there and put in your statistics as far as your height, age, weight, and, you know, what type of job setting you normally in. It'll give you a breakdown of how many calories you're supposed to be eating. And as far as, you know, the breakdown of what you're eating. So, I mean, it's there. I think just a lot of people is, like I said, they don't know where to start, or they just, you know, either, like I said, they're scared or nervous or intimidated.
I think it's just that discipline.
That's it,
aspect of it.
Well, and that's why we're here. We're here to, you know, you don't have to think about it. You come here to the Fit Academy, we got you. Like I said, you might be a person that work 1 or 2, 3 jobs, but we got you. The workouts are here. You ain't got to think about the movements. We show you the movements.
Making it feel more natural.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Yeah. So one more question. So I've heard you mention this before, but how, you know, when you talk about fitness, a lot of people go to the physical side, but how do fitness and everything helps with your mental?
So for me, I know, and then with my main, and that's another, and I didn't touch on that, but that's another reason why I got into physical fitness, because that was the one thing that I could control. So, you know, if you're weak, you know, if you couldn't do something, you try to get stronger. You know, you got methods of getting stronger. You know, that's the one thing that, hey, it doesn't talk back. It might fight back. It might be hard, but I ain't gotta, it's just something that I know I can do. If I want to stop it, I stop. If I want to keep going, I keep going. And, it's just something I can just pound and just pour and just hit it hard. And for, physical fitness, you got to think, if you feel better, you tend to want to do better. And then you look better. You naturally feel like you look better, and then you portray that confidence to yourself, which actually working out releases endorphins, good endorphins that can actually help you overall in your mental. You got to think, with that is less stress. Now it's better sleep quality. Or now you're not stressing because you're not overeating and you're not stress eating, and so now you're eating better, so now your metabolism and your immune system is better. Right. So physical fitness can open up a whole lot of doors. Like I was saying with the everyday, like the lady was walking from her car to her job. At that point, like some of our clients will say, "Oh, why you got us doing this kind of movement?" And it's those unilateral movements. And it's like, hey, granted, we're not trying to do that because we're trying to make you a star athlete. We're doing these movements because they help with your everyday life. Because now at this point, you're not thinking about it. It's easier to move. So if something drops, you can pick it up, or you can reach it. You can reach up higher, and then that's why we implement a lot of our stretching too. Dynamic warm-ups and static warm-ups, and stretching and cool downs at the end, because it's imperative once again to work the muscles effectively, efficiently, and safely as well.
Yeah. So, cool. Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time, sitting down with me, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Of course. Do you want to leave them your social media, where they can follow you, where they can find you, and everything like that?
So, like I said, Brandon Moon on, as far as social media, Golden Child.
Golden Child.
So, and then on Facebook, Brandon Moon. Like I said, we are also we are the admin for the Fit Academy on Instagram, Fit Academy VA, and the Fit Academy VA on Facebook. But hey, come check us out. Like I said, we're just here to help anybody and everybody. So you shouldn't feel intimidated. A lot of the stuff that I know I might post, with big tires and flipping stuff and sandbags stuff, that's just stuff that I want to do. You know what I mean? But you can ask all of our people. We tell them, hey, look, do it at your own accord. Take breaks and water when needed. So keep that in mind. When you want to make sure, if you're looking at somebody or you following somebody on social media or in person, just make sure what they're doing, look at what they're doing, pay attention to their form and their breathing. And if you can, ask them, and if not, check behind them and make sure, like, hey, is this something that most people do or something normal? And even if not, like, hey, is this safe? Is this effective for me? Because even though they're doing it, you may not be or be able or shouldn't be doing it. Right. It's like, hey, somebody that has high blood pressure, why would they be doing burpees and a lot of jumping movements? That's going to throw them off, and they shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Or somebody with bad knees, why would I have them, doing a lot of stuff that's going to put a lot of pressure on their knees, lunges, and, certain squats and things like that. So, just make sure, if you do want to get into it, find your reason, find your conviction for wanting to get into it, and just make sure you go about it at your own pace, take your time, and listen to your body.
Yep. So I'll say this again, make sure y'all check out the Fit Academy here in Farmville, Virginia. If you're from the area, it's right across from Merck's. Whatever fitness goals that you have for yourself, these guys can definitely help you with that.
Got you.
But once again, appreciate you for taking your time out. Y'all can follow our regular podcast. You can listen to that pretty much anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. The link is in the corner of this video. But with that, y'all stay blessed, y'all stay safe, and we out here.
Peace.